life comparisons, denial, celebrities, and other people. By yours truly, 00HOCWWID. So let's get into this. Starting off, I want to go over denial. That is a trait that we learn from our upbringing, from the greatest examples in front of us in the beginning stages of our life. We see the activity of denial constantly, denying the suffering that is actually going on, denying the problems that are actually going on, denying the hostility that may be in the environment. We've always seen it just brushed under the rug and forgotten about. I know when I was a kid, in that generation, actually it goes before that too. So from early 2000s to 90s to 80s and so on, the escape was television. That was the thing. Television took over family time. If there was a problem, let's go watch a movie. Let's go do this. Let's escape our reality real quick to make us feel better. These examples of denial is what we learn and what we have found to be some form of joy, some form of happiness, when really you're just escaping the problem. That's why when it's done, that suffering comes back 100 times worse, because you're constantly having to escape the problem that needs to be worked on. And that's one thing that people don't put into consideration. But when you have a baby, it's analyzing everything. It's studying everything. It's paying attention to everything. Everything. Every single thing. Even things that you wouldn't be able to pinpoint because you're not at that state of survival. You're not at that state of adapting. The only way that you would be able to even fathom what a baby is going through while it's trying to adapt is just to go into a rural country and try to adapt to their rules and regulations. That's the only way that you would be able to even kind of even fathom what a baby is going through while it's trying to understand everything. It's got a new language to learn. It's learning about all these new environments, everything. It's got to learn to walk. It's got to learn all that stuff. But it's also paying attention to the energy of the people, everything. For example, those parents that refuse to argue in front of their baby because they don't want the baby to be around it. So what they do is they go into another room and they argue in there, right? The thing is when you're done arguing, you try to come back like everything's okay. The baby notices your hostility, notices the other person's hostility. It notices the energy. It's studying the demeanor, the body language. It all speaks from you. You don't have to verbally speak anything, And as the baby grows, it learns more and more and more. And it learns how to adapt. I mean, the masses, there's a lot of toxic environments. And these toxic environments are created from people who just refuse to work on their suffering. And that is where denial comes into play. So, like I said, it used to be just binge watching television, which it kind of still is today, except now it's more on a scale of like Netflix and stuff like that. It's the same concept, but it's more advanced. You know, these kids nowadays, they see mommy and daddy on the phones, making TikToks and stuff like that, and you know. But the thing is, you know, that parent will probably tell the kid, "Oh, this is just me expressing my creativity. We need to do this. You need to be in some of my videos, blah 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 blah." But the thing is it's not your creativity. You're addicted to the dopamine kick of notifications, followers, and acknowledgement. That's what you're getting. And that's what people refuse to accept because they're living in denial. So let's get into this. Social media is one of the most used tools to living the life of denial, to where you don't have to accept your suffering. You don't have to learn about your suffering. You can relate to people on a platform and just normalize it. Oh, you're going through this too? Well, I'm glad I'm not alone. Let's normalize this. And when it comes to, people trying to tell you, hey, you got a problem with this, you might want to work on that. Excuse me? You do know many people suffer with this. You know that, right? I'm actually friends with them. I'm a part of a group of people who suffer the same way. And so it becomes a big argument. When in reality, you could be like, hey, you just acknowledged the problem. Why don't you go work on that? They won't. And you can't say that. You can't say that they just acknowledge the problem. That's just going to create a bigger fire. And, making a bigger fire only makes a bigger fire. All you can do is just wish them the best and keep it moving. But normalizing trauma is one of the worst forms of denial, and I mean, that cycle's been evolving rapidly. But there's what I've noticed is there's three types of people when it comes to social media. You got the whiners and the criers, the people that stir a lot of drama and they keep the drama going. It could be family, it could be friends, just tearing apart relationships in general, just keeping that turmoil alive and throbbing, even though it was all majority of the time fed on lies, hate, and envy usually. Because something had to provide some kind of energy to create that form of hostility on, creating any kind of healthy relationships. The thing is, during our upbringing, we are not taught anything about a healthy relationship. We're not taught anything about that. And honestly, I really think that's how, corruption keeps its hold on us, because we don't know anything about a healthy relationship or a healthy this or a healthy that. We just normalize the dysfunction and keep it moving. We don't try to look, for peace inside of it. So we go to social media and we put our suffering on there. This is for the whiners and criers. Whining and crying about this, that, and the other. Politics this, politics that, blah, 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 blah. I'm watching this, I'm watching that, blah, 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 blah. This would be the category of loneliness, the lonely codependent, the lonely emotional codependent, let's put it that. Because they'll whine and cry on some of their posts. They'll do things to get like some kind of like or notification, some kind of acknowledgement, tagging people in it or whatnot. Or maybe they're just constantly complaining and they attract other complainers who comment their complaining as well. And, it gives some kind of comfort to those people because they feel not alone. They feel like, hey, I'm not the only one suffering like this. I guess this person is suffering like this too. So they jump on the bandwagon. And so you'll see them commenting on one another's suffering posts. And they relate that way. And so the second category of type of people that use social media is the constant poster, the person who constantly changes their profile picture, the person who is constantly tagging people in posts that it's really irrelevant, but they're trying to connect with people through their posts by saying, hey, this person might like this, let me tag them in this. But the thing is these type of posts are constant. It's not like, maybe once every blue moon you do it. No, it's constant. It's constant. Constant, constant, constant. And if they don't hear from you and they don't see your acknowledgement on their post that they tagged you in, and then you might be expecting of another one if that is that type of person. And what they're trying to show you is they yearn for your acknowledgement. They yearn for your notification because they're living a life of denial. The only thing that is accepting is other people's acceptance of them. And that goes for any of these kind of categories of people, from the whiner and the crier. I used to be a whiner and crier. I really did. I used to be a whiner and crier, post videos that were, that were very irrelevant, that should not have been posted by me. I look back at some of those and I'm just like, man, James, what the heck were you doing? I understand you were suffering. You were suffering a lot. And you were trying to get into the platform of, social media because it was being normalized. I was lost. I honestly admit that I was lost. I remember there were some videos, I tried posting, like just trying to get people's emotions, like, basically because at that time I had no empathy. But I was one of those people, though. I was one of those people where I would post, like, like these rescue animal videos and be like, oh, it's so sweet, blah, 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 blah. No. But the thing is that time frame, I literally had zero empathy. I had none. I had none. None whatsoever. But the thing is that's what I was always taught, If you think you feel some kind of emotion, you better broadcast it. You better broadcast it and you make sure that everyone hears it. You want everyone to hear it. You want everyone to hear that you were about to cry. You want everyone to hear that I felt that. You know, that's one of the biggest signs of no empathy right there. You know, but the thing is I acknowledge at that time I had no empathy. But the thing is I was trying to find that emotional acceptance. And the thing is when I posted stuff like that, you know, with the rescue videos and stuff, like, no one ever commented on them or anything. But the thing is I was trying. I was trying. I was trying. You know, there were some of my crybaby posts and whining, and even some of those didn't get any comments. But then again, some of them did. You know, believe it or not, looking back on it, my posts from, you know, back in my unstable days, those posts probably got more comments and bull crap on them than they do now, you know, because I think it was because I was more in tune with a lot of people. But the thing is even then I wasn't in tune, because the thing is yeah, I post all these rescue videos and blah 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 blah. But the thing is how was I as a person? I was nothing what I was broadcasting, you know. I wasn't someone that was concerned with animal rescues and befriending people who were, like, you know, volunteering their time at the Humane Society or something like that. No. I wasn't doing nothing like that. So my post did not meet up with who the heck I was as a person. And see, that's what a lot of people refuse to accept, you know, that they're living in denial. You're living as an image to yearn for acceptance and appreciation, because face it, we all lacked it in our upbringing. We lacked that appreciation. We lacked that acceptance. We lacked that emotional affection. We lacked a lot in our developing stages, you know, which has created the generation we have today living before us. So yeah, let's get back on track. You know, the whiners and criers, I done broke that down. The second one, the constant poster, constant changing their profile picture. You know, these type of people, they feed on those notifications. They feed on it a lot. Like, these people are really, really, really lonely. Really, 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 really narcissistic. Very, very controlling. You know, they just want that type of acceptance and appreciation. They, you know, they're always posting constantly, posting stuff that will get people to react, you know, tagging people and stuff to get that, you know, response. And it's just never ending, constant. These people, you know, I mean, all these people, they live a great form of denial in their own way. But the thing is they can't be compared. You know, it's totally different formats of denial. Denial, when you break it down, like it's like a mathematic division problem. You know, you break it down, break it down. Some numbers are bigger than others. You know, they're not going to be. They can't be compared. You know, someone else's psychological response to social media can't be compared to the other guy, or the other guy, or the other guy, because numbers are forever infinite, and some numbers are bigger than others. And when you try to divide it, you know, you're still working on the problem, trying to break it down, you know, because you got to think, you got to put in, you know, how old is this person? You know, how many years invested do they have in life? You know, you might get a you know, an amount of what that number might be in the division problem. But the thing is with how many years that are invested in their life, in turmoil and suffering and all that stuff, that creates the big number, you know. And each number is going to be different from every individual, because every individual has their own response to it. So, you got the constant poster, constantly posting, changing their profile picture like every single day. And the thing is their profile pictures are pretty much always the same. It's always the same. They might be wearing a new outfit, might have done their hair a little different, or maybe they didn't. Or maybe it's like, just a constant change of profile pictures is like them at work. Oh, there's them and their dog. Oh, it's them at work again. Oh, there they are with their dog. Oh, there they are with their dog again. There they are with their dog again. Oh, they're back at work. But the thing is it's like a daily thing. Constant post, constant post, constant post, constant post. Because they feed on that dopamine kick from the notification that pops up. I've been accepted. I've been approved. Let's go to the third one. The third one, these are the ones why I had to get off Facebook, especially in the beginning times with me in the facility. These are the ones that post. And the thing is this type of video post, this type of posting, it has evolved from then too. And believe it or not, I'm not seeing much of it anymore. And I honestly think it's because, when I did go back to Facebook, I unfollowed a lot of stuff. I unfriended a lot of people. And, just trying to make Facebook a more of a healthier environment like my Instagram is. But the thing is that Facebook has been in my life since, high school. So I was still in a toxic frame of mind and being accepted. It's a lot to fix. And I mean, I made a big dent in it, but the thing is even that dent, it's still just a small portion of what really needs to be fixed. But the third poster, these are the people that, try to prove their empathy, but it's in a whole nother way than what I was trying to explain to you. Because the thing is, and that's another thing too, is as I do remember when I might have, I don't know if I did. I don't know if I posted those type of things. I probably did. I probably did. I might have. I don't think I did though. Yeah, I don't think I did. All right, let's get back on track. But what I was contemplating on was, I don't know if I ever shared like slaughterhouse videos or anything like that, like trying to terrorize people, like to get on my platform of life of being a vegetarian at that time. But I probably did, because let's see. I might have. I probably did. Wouldn't surprise me to try to get that empathy. Because, with the animal rescuing videos and the slaughterhouse videos, if I did share them, I mean, it's up the same alley. But the thing is these third posters I'm going to get into go beyond this. They go beyond those. Because the thing is I had limitations. I had limitations heavily because I wanted to be liked when I was like that. When I was trying to show my empathy and all this stuff, and this almost made me cry, blah, blah, blah. I was trying to be more to get accepted. These people, they take it to a whole nother level. I mean, these are the people that share animal abuse videos, share all kinds of animal abuse videos at that time frame. There was a lot of animal abuse videos on my feed, I remember. And, giving a big old description about how this video made them feel, and I can't believe this person did this, and blah, blah, blah. And this was back when those videos auto-played for you when they popped up. There was no little censor saying there's sensitive material on this video or whatnot. No, it was straightforward. It played, and I remember these videos used to be piled up on my timeline, and it was to a point to when I did get into the facility. That was the first social media platform that we got me off of, just to get off that because of how it made me feel. Because if it was a therapy session and I got exposed to that stuff, I'd bring it up. I'd bring it up. Because the thing is, when you're working on yourself, and you're correcting a lot empathy wise with yourself, and you're trying to get emotional understanding, then when you get exposed to stuff like that, like, you start to feel it, and you're like, what the heck? But the thing is these people, they post animal abuse videos, and back in the day when I saw those, like before the facility, I didn't have no empathy. But the thing is what it would do is it would get me, when I'd see them, I'd click it, and then I'd deep dive into other videos that were just like that, and I would just continue to watch and 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 watch. But I didn't feel anything. It was just me being exposed to it. It's kind of like the way that I got, the slaughterhouse videos, and when I went vegetarian, I watched them, and first it went with pigs, cows, chickens, just constantly going. Now these are the type of people that were sharing these type of videos. They don't have no empathy. They're severely scolded, but it's like they're in search for that feeling. So they share those type of videos. They share those type of videos, and just trying to prove that they have some form of empathy. But the thing is that's severe manipulation. But it's a tactic that's taught to us. It's a tactic that's taught to us in our upbringing. You know, you have to boast about it. This video almost made me cry. This video had me feeling this type of way. I need to broadcast it. But really, did it really make you feel like that? Or are you tricking yourself into thinking that it made you feel that way, and now you have something to broadcast? But the thing is those people do more harm than good, because you're scolding the innocent people that are on your friends list and stuff. So you're just bringing them down with you. You're bringing them down your hole of misery. Because I tell you, there is no satisfaction or happiness found in any of those type of videos. But the thing is that's the third type of person, though. And then, let's go ahead and add a fourth, because I totally forgot about this one. Just the person that just constantly posts, the funny stuff, the funny stuff. Those type of people, they're just trying to, to and the thing is these type of people, they come in, it's more like a pastime. There are some who use it as an escape. Some of them do, where it's just constantly posting those type of ones where it's all funny, it's all humorous, it's all this, that, but it's constant. But then you got some where it's just like, they must have had like 10 minutes of free time in this point, so they just shared this, that, and the other. But then they'll just come back like, I don't know, like maybe it's kind of equivalent to, how I do Instagram with my positive quotes and stuff. It's kind of equivalent to that. It's like their way of keeping some form of a positive mind frame, but it's through like a sense of humor. And the thing is I don't know how that affects psychologically. I know my caseworker, she's the one that, got me to run my Instagram how I run it, and to do the quotes specifically. I'm not sure about when it comes to funny stuff, though. I mean, that can go under a lot of things. Because humor is pretty much like one of the severe signs of depression. But the thing is, instead of getting help for the problem, you're finding like a sense of laughter, to kind of suppress it a little bit, because you're laughing and you can confuse yourself into thinking that you're happy because you're laughing. But yeah, the poster of humorous, they like the notifications. Um, they like the notifications, but they're not as dependent on it as the other categories are, because I think they've got to the point to where they're getting to share stuff that they find funny, and they don't care about what other people really think. So they're just sharing so they kind of got the mechanics of using social media in kind of a healthy matter. But the thing is it's how you're utilizing those humorous posts. Are you using it to consume a lot of your time? Is it progressing you? You know, and so on and so on. The list of questions can go down. To further analyze it. But yeah, they're harmless. They're harmless. Um, they more than likely have a lot of issues that they're trying to just suppress through that. But yeah, some of their posts are pretty funny and whatnot, but it gives a good laugh. And that's what it all boils down to, is they really like making people laugh, because they might not be a funny person in reality, but if they find something funny on social media, they just share it because it made them laugh. It kind of gets on because I will tell you, like, a lot of those posts, they won't get a lot of likes a lot. Sometimes they won't get any, with those kind of posters, So it's kind of equivalent to, how I run my Instagram. I post a lot of positive quotes and stuff, but you never see like a lot of likes and a lot of this, that, and the other, because it's more for me. And that's how my caseworker taught me. That's how you use social media. You do it for you. You do it for you. You post for you. You don't post for other people. And that's where those type of posts, where it's just funny posts, where I think they have actually adapted. They have figured out that I don't care if other people find this funny. This made me laugh. I'm sharing this. So they got the mechanics correct of, that individual side of it. But the thing is that humor some form of suppression to your suffering that you should be working on? We can all break it down if we want, but I'm just going to give a generalized description of it, because you get the gist of it. But yeah, those are your 4 categories of the social media user. Now, with how it has been evolving, this is where stuff gets really scary. Number one, the evolution of social media has just gotten, it gets scarier and scarier every time it evolves. And TikTok is one of the most scary social media platforms. I will not ever get involved in that. I will not. Just because of the amount of toxicity that's on it. There's actually a YouTuber I follow, and he was actually going over basically about how TikTok is basically a playground for adult children. And one video specifically that he went over, and he goes over many, but the thing is he is pointing out how off we are becoming as humanity when it comes to TikTok. Like how it has went from Facebook and how Facebook used to be used, and then going on to like different platforms of social media to Snapchat, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually TikTok. TikTok is basically, that is the big component right now. But one of the videos he showed was like this woman, probably 40s, maybe getting close to her 50s, recording herself, putting peanut butter on her face. And that was the video. Just covering her whole face, hair and all, just all covered in peanut butter. And then she had a video after that one where she did the same thing with jelly all over. And these are the examples. These are the examples for the children of parents who do things like this. Those parents could say, yeah, this is for my creativity. I'm doing my creativity and you got to be a part of my video. But the thing is, they're addicted to the notification, the dopamine kick that provides, the following. Because, TikTok is one of those social media platforms where it's easier to get a high amount of subscribers. It's easy to get views. But the thing is what keeps them coming is one video may go viral there, but every other video is very small in views. And so they constantly want to keep putting in that extra effort because they want to be that spotlight. They want to be the ultimate example of exception. They want to be accepted. They want to be approved. And they're willing to do everything, sacrifice their dignity and all, to get to that type of spotlight. They don't want to do it individual ways because as an individual, it's very hard to even get into any kind of spotlight because if you're being your individual self, you're not putting any effort to be in the spotlight. It just gravitates towards you if it's meant for you. If it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you. But you stand ground and just continue to be your individual self no matter what. But the thing is, like I said, it's denial. People use social media for their life of denial. And TikTok is one of them. And it's horrible. Just like the woman who got busted for forcing her kid to cry in a video because she wanted to cry in the video and she needed him to cry in the video. But the thing is she wasn't really crying. The kid was really crying. She was basically doing like the fake cry, no tear, and like zooming in on the kid's crying face. It was a horrible video. But these are the videos that this guy goes over, and he basically goes over the psychological state with all these people, and how off they are and how it's just continuously evolving. Because he's speaking about these are grown adults obsessed with that notification, that following, that fan base, because all they want at the end of the day is that emotional affection, clarity, and acceptance that was lacked heavily in their upbringing. So they're trying to find it now, but they're finding it through a very unhealthy source. But the thing is, with all that energy that is invested in social media to provide some form of comfort from our own suffering, one thing that we can acknowledge, as soon as you get off, dang well that suffering comes back 100 times worse. It didn't complete anything. It didn't fulfill anything. All it did was ignore it for the time being so that it could build up and constantly build up and build up and build up and build up. And then bam. You know what? I just realized I forgot a fifth social media poster. I forgot about it. But we're still on the concept of social media anyway. The image, the imagery, the image person. The person that hardly posts on their timeline and stuff. But when they do, just know that their pictures are all perfection. And it gets a lot of likes, a lot of comments. These are the spectators of the timeline. You know, they don't post unless it's truly necessary and it's going to look good for their image. But they see everything. They see everything. They're spectating. They look at imagery as some form of competition. And the image is basically a bookmark, a highlight. So say their life is going in turmoil, the relationship and all. You know, say, you know, they come up and they say, hey, I know we were arguing, but look at this time we were having such a great time, weren't we? You know, and try to remind them of that image. You know, to kind of eliminate the fact that it's not working out, you know, something like that. You need help. We need help. We need counseling. The image is a crutch. But look how many likes I got. Look how many comments I got. Look how much people appreciate me. You know, they get obsessed with it. They try to branch out into other things on other platforms, but the thing is it never goes off. You know? And what that is an example of is they're realizing that they're not really much to offer because all they do is focus on an image. You know, if you're bringing video format to the thing, you know, a lot of them don't make it that way because you start to see how forced they are when it comes to image. It's all forced. There's nothing entertaining about forcing that type of image, an image of perfection. It's number one, it's easy to do image, like a picture. But when you try to get off of, you know, that platform and go into like a video format, you start to see how forced they really are. And there's nothing entertaining about a forced individual. That's not entertainment. You're trying too hard. You know, so when they see, you know, the first time they try and they get a really good amount of views, but the thing is it's when they continue, they'll notice the views start to go down and go down and go down and go down and go down, and they lose that motivation because the looks, the views, you know, that means everything to them. You know, so usually they may create like some kind of project like that and quit and go back to, you know, just the image stuff, because the image is where their success is, because there is no forced, you know, there's nothing forced about it unless you're looking at behind the scenes where you're trying to stop your kid from crying and, you know, trying to get them to take a picture of perfection for your portfolio, you know. But those people, the image ones, those are the most damaged. Those are the most damaged. I mean, it's kind of up there with the person that is the constant poster and the constant tagger, constantly changing their profile picture. But those people, they don't try to put any form of perfection to it. The image person, they really try. They really try. They try to take the perfect photo, the perfect everything. Whereas the constant poster where they change their profile picture and stuff, and it's pretty much the same stuff and tagging multiple people just to get their comments and likes and stuff. The difference is the constant poster is not, you know, they're not trying that hard because they don't have the energy to try that hard. Now, if they had the energy and they had the knowledge to maintain some form of perfection, an image of perfection, they probably would. In a heartbeat, they probably would. But the thing is they don't. They don't have that type of skill. They don't have that type of mindset, you know, because they can't take a break like those people that are all image. They can't take a break like that. They wouldn't be able to, because they have to constantly keep themselves busy for the escape that they are doing for their life, because they're using that as like the biggest crutch, which is social media. Whereas the image person, their escape is usually off social media. Their escape is off social media. But when they are on social media, the image is always perfection. But either or, all five of these categories of people that are on social media, they all have some form of escape on the outside of social media. Social media is just a crutch. How much social media plays in that percentage wheel, that depends on the individual, because every individual is different. But they all have some form of escape that they use outside of it to keep them at bay. And those people that, use perfection as an image, they have a lot of their, social media is still their highest, because they more than likely look at the pictures as their highlights. They look at that stuff. They pay attention to that stuff. They feel good about it. But the thing is they have a high percentage with using of social media, but they don't use it to post and stuff. It's more like to stay in the now, to stay in the know, to know what's going on. But they don't put their 2 cents publicly, because their image is everything. They might do it in private, but they won't put anything that's going to ruin that image of perfection. All right, so let's end this part. So the second thing I want to get into, and this is where it gets good. This is where I wanted to get in. The celebrities, the fascination with celebrities and their relationships. How many people do you know? I wish I had a relationship like this. I wish I had a relationship like that. Oh, I want to be in a relationship like them. They are so good together. Stuff like that. When it comes to a celebrity, that is one of the worst ways of thinking. And, someone who thinks like that, these type of people, they've mastered living in denial. They live in denial a lot. And this is where the house is crumbling down. Your kids are mentally messed up. The father is, emotionally neglecting of you and your kids. Stuff like that. They live in a fantasy. It's a fantasy. Especially when you start obsessing over celebrities, it becomes a big fantasy. You want a relationship like this, that, and the other. But it's like, why don't you use that as motivation to work on yours? Because that celebrity's relationship, that's all image. That's all image. Because one thing that the masses never put into consideration is how much suffering did that celebrity have to go through to get where they are today. They never asked that. I've asked a lot of people, have you watched a documentary of this person? Have you watched a documentary of this person? This person, this person? It's always no. It's like So you really don't have that type of interest in that celebrity. You don't find them inspiring. They don't. They are more fascinated with the image and what they present. But when it comes to documentaries and interviews and stuff like that, they're not going to watch that. They're not going to watch that. Because you know why? Documentaries are inspiring. Those type of people do not want to be inspired. Because you know what they're thinking the whole time? How dare they show me what I got to work on within myself? How dare they? So they're not going to view stuff like that. And when it comes to an interview, that's even more. Because it's pretty much the same thing. It's just an interview is going for more of an elaborate, going more into an elaborate format of answers from the celebrity that they may be interviewing. They don't want to watch that stuff. Oh, that's too boring. But I thought you liked them. Oh, I do. But I wouldn't sit through their interview. So then you don't like them. But the thing is a lot of people, when it comes to celebrities, no one finds inspiration through them. They more like the way to word it, they kind of attempt to try to live through them and find happiness through them, Because that's another form of social media user where they just follow celebrities. Believe it or not, that's a real thing. They follow just the celebrities that they like. And they obsess. They get hooked. They get hooked inside the celebrities' relationships. And if they're with someone that the fan base disapproves, the fan base notifies them. But it's like, wait a minute. What y'all's relationships look like? Oh, okay. But the thing is no one is ever inspired by celebrities. And if they are, they're of the select few. Because the masses, they only look at them as something to portray. They find inspiration in a whole different spotlight. They don't find their story, their suffering, where they came from to be inspiring. They find what they are presenting in the spotlight as of now to be inspiring. Because they want to be that. But it's like, but you don't want to put in the effort that they put in, right? You want it to just be spoon-fed to you. But literally, when people say that they want a relationship like the celebrities and stuff like that, I want to deep dive into those conversations with them. But the thing is, see, a lot of people don't like having deep dive conversations, but I personally do. I love deep diving conversations. Breaking things down to a T. But you got to look at where that person is in the spotlight. How much work did they have to put in to get there? How much did they suffer? How many demons did they have to put aside to stay moving? How many problems did they put aside to stay moving? How many times did they have to argue with someone because they wouldn't take no for an answer? These are the things that you got to put into consideration. And that's why people do not watch their documentaries. Because they earned where they are. But the thing is when they get there, their relationship is nothing to look up to. Because the relationship that you were looking up to was an image. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But if it's two celebrities, they all went down the same path of constant fighting, putting their demons aside, putting their mental health issues aside, putting their problems aside, putting their family and everyone else aside, you know, never taking no for an answer, constantly putting their stress and everything else aside so they can continuously move forward. They're basically in a mind frame of I'll take care of it later. I'll take care of it later. I'll take care of it later. But the thing is when they finally get to the spotlight, all that stuff that was left behind comes back all in one, and it hits, and it hits hard. It hits hard, which is why they have to keep such a busy schedule. So it keeps all that stuff that they neglected at bay. So they keep moving forward. They constantly are on the move, trying to figure out roles, trying to perfect this role. That's why they live through their characters that they are playing for a movie role or something like that. They give their 1,000% to that character, you know. There's a reason behind that. Because what they have neglected to get where they are can't touch them when they are in character, because they're still on the go. It all goes down to a psychological reasoning behind it. But it kind of goes with, because I read an article, it was from some psychologist's article. They were speaking about how schizophrenia is writing is an acceptable form of schizophrenia, and I can totally understand that. There are many writers, you know, that write very demented stuff and whatnot. But the thing is it's accepted. It's okayed. A lot of those writings go into movies and stuff like that. Their insanity, their suffering, provides the entertainment for the masses that are suffering. But yeah, when you look at celebrities and their relationships and whatnot, you're only going by based on an image. But the thing is eventually celebrities have breaking points, because it all catches up to them and it hits. And when it hits hard. When those demons have a chance to hit you where it hurts, it hits. And it hits hard. Because the thing is when it comes to the spotlight, there's a lot of behind the scenes that we don't know about, because it's all image. It's all image. That's why when a celebrity does get hit and it gets hit hard, it's shown everywhere. I mean, just look at the Britney Spears situation where she shaved her head and everything. She got hit, and she got hit hard. There's tons of celebrities that get hit like that, because that image is very hard to maintain. It's very, very hard. So when people say, oh, I wish I had a relationship like that celebrity or this celebrity or that celebrity, it's like, have you put into consideration how much they may be suffering behind the scenes? Oh, you haven't? Oh, well, maybe you should. Why would I do that? Because then all that will reveal to me is how much I need to pay attention to my own suffering and how much I need to fix with my life. Oh, okay. So that's why people fall in love with an image, and you know, they fall in love with these amazing lives that other people live and whatnot. But the thing is they don't want to put that effort into themselves in their life. They don't want to do that, because they have accepted where they are in life. They've accepted their value. That's why they live in denial, and they live through the glamour that goes on on the screen of their phones, of their TV, living in jealousy and envy, you know, fear that their spouse is paying more attention to this person because of how they look, because they feel like they're not worthy anymore because they're getting older. You know, they're putting on more weight. You know, that envy and that jealousy, that's a sign that you need to work on. But a lot of those people that, live through these celebrity lives, and they have this obsession over a celebrity platform of life, those are the ones that are your real jealous types, because they yearn for something like that. They yearn for it. But the thing is it's more just like an imagination to them, a fantasy. But yeah, always, put into consideration of where they may be. I mean, it's just like, here recently I got into Shakira's music and, really loving her concerts and, how much effort she puts in her shows, how much she really appreciates her fan base. I mean, it's wholesome. It's wholesome. It's heartwarming, you know. But I have had, at least it's what I have speculated. Whenever, one of my friends, they were like, "Oh, you really love Shakira. Like, you really love her." And it's like, no, anytime they do that, I specify, I love her music. I love her music. And I always specify the music. Because the thing is I acknowledge the artwork that she puts in and how much effort she puts into it. But I also have done the digging to see how much she has suffered to get where she is. You know, I look at the documentaries, I watch interviews. I love that stuff. I love seeing what the person's about. Because I find bits and pieces that I can relate to that was on in my journey through the facility and whatnot. I experienced this. I experienced that, you know. And that gives more of a bond with their artwork, you know, a bond with you and their artwork and what they present, you know. It triggers the emotions completely different when you do that type of digging. What was once a song, when you deep dive into their documentary and their interviews and stuff, and you find out about the amount of pain that they put into this specific song or this specific song, the way that you gathered that song at first, it changes completely because you were able to listen to that artist's suffering that went on to make that. And that's what a lot of people don't want to dig in. They don't want to dig into that. They don't want to go into that. Because all you're doing is telling them that they need to look within themselves and find out what's going on with them. You know? But when it comes to a relationship, I don't look at, her like that. Because I know how much she's recovering from. And she's vocal about it too. She's in the therapy and all that stuff. But the thing is like there was an interview with her boyfriend. I mean, the guy should be her husband, but she's terrified of marriage, and that's another thing. That's a whole other thing. But the way that interview went down, it showed two people, and this is how it is with any celebrity relationship. Two people that worked their butt off to get where they are today. And all their demons and stuff coming forth, Because one thing that she specified in that interview was how she likes to keep him in the chase, She wants to be known as the girlfriend. Keep him chasing. She doesn't want the chase to ever end. And he was very short to the point and very picky and choosy about his answers, you know, and the body language and all that stuff. I mean, the amount of suffering that she has endured and the amount of suffering that he has endured, it is all blatant in that one interview. Just that one interview. That one interview says a million words, and you see two people who have suffered so much just to get where they are. Suffered so much, put so much aside, but now everything is catching up. It's all catching up. That's what I mean. You never know what's going on behind the scenes. Never. You get a glimpse sometimes. You get a glimpse. But the thing is a lot of people, they just normalize those glimpses and they say, man, that happens in every relationship. Don't be like that. Don't normalize stuff like that. If you can pinpoint something that's wrong with the relationship, that's when it's time to fix it. You don't sweep it under the rug and live with it. But see, that's where she's actually in therapy. She, in her interview, she talks about her psychologist and all this other stuff that she's very into, because she acknowledges a lot that she's having to catch up on. That's what I mean. You have to catch up on that, because eventually everything that you put aside to get where you are in that spotlight, it all catches up. And you can either do something about it, be the responsible person and do something about it and take care of it, or get caught up in the scene of the spotlight and live the lavish life of escaping the problem and just letting it pile up till you get even older in age. So, or maybe the stardom, you start to fall off, but you can live off of all your earnings for the rest of your life and then say maybe you'll take care of it then. But the thing is you'll be so prone to escaping, you probably won't even have the energy to do anything about it. Unless you get forced into like a rehab or something. But yeah, always look at them as the artists that they are, because the energy that they provide to you is some form of healing. And see, that's another thing with the masses. They would never be able to go up to an artist and tell them to a T what their music has done for them, how much they have inspired them, what they have been doing in their life that artist has inspired them. They won't be able to break that stuff down. You know what a lot of people do? Oh, you listen to her music? Yeah, she's pretty hot. You know. Oh, I saw that you followed her, so I'm assuming that you like her music too. Oh, she's pretty hot. And it's the same concept to the other sex. You know. Oh, you listen to him? Yeah, he's pretty hot. Okay, so if you were to see these artists in person, are you going to just tell them how hot they are and not really give them the commentary that they truly deserve for their work and the amount of suffering that they have endured to put out that masterpiece that made some form of impact on you? Oh yeah, that's right. You don't look at it as a masterpiece. You look at it as just a song. You don't want to listen to the amount of suffering and that they had to endure to make that song. No one wants to do that. You know why? Because that is triggered through empathy. That is empathy right there. That's empathy. And that's what this world needs. This world needs more of it. But the thing is, so many people don't have it. Therefore, that is the majority. You know, because to have empathy, that's where you start thinking of others and how you come off. And that's when you go get help. You know? these artists, when they hear stuff like that, when they hear, the only one that I can speak on is when I went to a concert, and it was for my friend's band. I never heard of this band, but they're a pretty big deal in the metal scene. A very big deal. And I mean, people were moshing and all that stuff. It was great music. And I never heard of the band, but a lot of that band, they were hanging out at the bar after the concert. So I got to actually have one-on-one conversation with the drummer because I thought he was killing it. He was killing it. I did get to talk to the singer, but I didn't really get to talk to him much. But the drummer, he actually spoke with me. He took a smoke break and just spoke to me, and he loved how much I was inspired by, his work with the drums, and like the dude didn't take no crap. I mean, it was a pretty good show, and I mean, he was killing it. Very entertaining, and he really loved the words that I had to say, and he just sat down like a human being, just listening to everything. Like, these artists really appreciate when you pay attention to what they're bringing to the table like that, because they don't hear it. They understand it because that emotion is what they put in to their craft, because the world lacks so much emotion. They don't get it. They don't understand why someone practices the drum set so long on end, days after days. Because if they were to try to express their emotions in another form to people and stuff, people don't understand. And it's because we live in a society where emotions are not understood. It's something that we escape. So really think about that, though. Like, if you were ever to meet up with a celebrity or some form of artist, that's work has impacted you in some way, let them know. Why don't you let them know? Like, don't give them the regular spiel of, I love your work, take a picture with me. Why not try to elaborate? Why not try to break it down for them? Why not give your own individual response? Because you know how many people tell them, I love your work, let's take a picture. I love your work, you are so awesome. Oh my gosh, you are so hot. Let's take a picture. You know how many of those that they get? It's the majority. But when you are the 1% and you are aware of your individuality, you give your own individual response. That is where we need to lean more towards when it comes to our artists, and especially with those in the spotlight, because those within the spotlight, those are the ones that are suffering far greater. I'm not saying, artists don't suffer, because they do at the end of the day. But the ones in the spotlight, they suffer far more demons. Because temptation, the more you level up and you get to that point in life of where you're in the spotlight, temptation is a whole nother level than just, your average artist doing open mic and, other stuff on the side like that. Their temptation in the spotlight is spoon-fed. You can get anything you want. All you got to do is just snap your fingers and it's there right before you. And that's scary. Now, let's cut that off. Let's get into the third part. Other people. That's right. We went from celebrities to going straight to other people, because believe it or not, the people that live through celebrities and whatnot, there are those kind of people, but they don't do it for celebrities. They do it through other people. So they're always constantly trying to one up, you know, keep up with the Joneses, if you will. It's just like that. Oh, they live in that subdivision. I got to move to that subdivision. Oh, they got one of those cars. I got to get one of those cars. Oh, they had a kid. I got to have a kid. Oh, they got married before 21. I got to get married before 21. Oh, you got her that kind of ring? I got to get her a better ring. Oh, you went to vacation in Hawaii? I need to go vacation in Hawaii. You know, it's a constant competition, you know, constantly keeping up with the image that, you know, a certain people or certain group or a certain family may portray, and you're having to keep up with it. You got to keep up with it because you think that that image is what is keeping that friendship strong. But that friendship or, you know, relationship, whatever it is, the only thing that is the spine of that relationship is the image. Let's say if you were to break your image, you know, you were to break that image, you were done portraying it, your friendship would dwindle with it. It would dwindle with it because you're no longer keeping up with the Joneses. Because when it comes to keeping up with the Joneses with one family, they're doing it with another family, they're doing it with another family. And the thing is it goes with groups, it goes with friendships, it goes with all that stuff. Everyone is trying to compete with one another. For what? For what? It all goes down to image. I want to be accepted by them. I want to be accepted by this group. I'm going to be accepted by this family. I want to be accepted by this. I want to be accepted by that. I want to be accepted by this. I want to be accepted by that. But when do you draw the line and accept yourself? Oh, you don't. You don't. Well, why not? Because you don't know how to. It was never taught to you. That goes down to upbringing. That goes down to upbringing. But it is so sad because you see it on social media too. But the thing is this is a way of life that goes off social media platform. This has been going on even before social media even happened. This is where, you know, the neighbor saw what the other neighbor had, so they had to one up that neighbor, and that neighbor saw that, hey, that neighbor one up me. I need to one up them real quick. Oh, that neighbor's out mowing the lawn. I better get out and mow the lawn. You know, this type of stuff has been going on long time, you know. Constantly in caring what the other person is doing because you have to outdo them. Because through our upbringing, we have been taught that, you know, competition, healthy competition is competing with the other person. So every single thing is competition. Just like drinking, for example. I can outdrink you. Oh, no, you can't. Let's put it to the test. Two people just drinking themselves to death, you know, until one gives up. Till one meets the ultimate amount of misery that they feel and they just give up. Yeah, I showed you I could drink better than you. No, all you showed me is that you can withstand more misery than me. Because the more you consume, the bigger that hill gets. Which means you got to eventually climb up that hill. And it's like, good luck with that. But it all goes down to keeping up with the Joneses. And that's how a lot of people are. Always having to one up each other. In groups, in families, whatever. You know. And you see it in your group of friends. If you're in like a big group, like you'll notice like you guys look pretty much identical. Guys look identical. The style is identical. There's nothing individual about you. But then, like, say, it's kind of like the Lego movie, like where, all the construction workers, they've singled out, the main character of the movie. And, but he was just like a yes man. He liked everything that everyone else liked. But the thing is at the end of the day, they all were construction workers. They all wore the same attire. They all had the same hobbies, but they had one thing that stood out about them, and it was something stupid. Like, it was like, you see him? He likes sausage. And he's like, yeah, I like sausage. And you see him? He likes chicken wings. And he's like, yeah, I love chicken wings. And you see him? When you see him, he always does this laugh. Do your laugh. Yep, that's me. Like he does some weird laugh. But you see that guy? When you see him, and he just gives a blank stare in the camera, and he just says, he's nothing. The guy's nothing. Like he was just another number in their group. But the thing is he was one of the highest numbers in the group. Because it's a totem pole, the leader is number one, and then the rest, the numbers just get higher. But the thing is that guy was in like last place in that group. And if you're last place, you're more than likely just the punching bag or just the entertainment for them to pick on you and stuff like that until you work your way up in rank. That's a miserable way to live too. That's miserable. I don't know why people want to live like that. I mean, you think you would get to a point to where you say, I'm sick of this. I really don't want to live like that. But there's probably some people that they've normalized it. They've accepted it. They've seen it all their life. They've seen it through their mom and dad's life and their groups and whatnot, and saw how they were portrayed in their groups. They just learn from them. The thing is, it just gets carried down in darker forms because the kid becomes a worse version than their parent. Because they're trying to one up them. And if it's on a negative aspect of life, and say their parents come off as like, severely picked on in their group of people, and they just accept it, well, that means the kid is either they're going to be the complete opposite of their parents and struggle through childhood and whatnot because they're brainwashed by the example and they don't know what is outside of that example. Because that's what it is. When you become the difference in your family, your household, you literally are learning a way of life that was never introduced to you. And that's tough. That's tough. But the thing is believe it or not, there's a lot of people that live that way, where they had to be the difference. They had to go through different sources. Like they have father figures, they have mother figures, they have all that. Whatever was lacked, they have a figure for it. Because they had to learn. They had to learn the right way, and it's sad because through their upbringing, learning through, the parents that were stuck in those type of groups and whatnot, they spend all until they move out. That's from 1 to maybe 20 years old, whatever. That's 20 years of their life that they had to adapt to an environment that they didn't need to be learning. That's sad. That's 20 years of their life. 20 years. So now that they moved out, they got to relearn everything. They got to try to learn the right way of life. But the thing is they don't even know where to start, you know? So that could take more than 10 years, you know? Especially if you don't know where to start, you know? Or hopefully they make the right choice and just get into a facility and just go from there. Because you got to relearn everything. That's the toughest part. But yeah, keeping up with the Joneses, that type of lifestyle messes up your kids. Messes up your kids. I mean, it messes them up. Because they're always going to be competing. They're always going to be trying to keep up. If they're not keeping up, they think they're missing out. Oh, he got a new boat. I got to get a new boat. He got a new car. I got to get a new car. Oh, he moved out the subdivision. I got to move out the subdivision. You know, it's constantly having to keep up. It's like you're miserable. You're miserable because you don't know how to live your life for you. You've always lived it for others. And that's your normalized life. And that's sad. It's sad. But anyway, I'm going to put an end to this audiobook. But hey, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned some from it. There'll be more material coming in the future.